It's day 5 of summer and it is a miserable start to the day. We have horrendous rain pouring down, which has completely scuppered my plans to do some more harvesting. Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to American Midwest. So, yes, the plan today was to carry on where we left off yesterday and do some more harvesting. We did fields 25 and 26 yesterday, and today I was going to attack fields 1 and 4 and get the rest of that feed in for our pigs. Get that stored in our silo up at the animal farm, and then maybe work on field 10 if we have the time. That's now completely out the window. As you can see, it's raining, so we have to A, wait for the rain to stop before we can even think about harvesting, and then B, we have to wait for the crops to dry out as well. Now, it's not necessarily the be-all and end-all of, that's it, no harvesting today at all. It is the middle of summer. Well, technically late summer, but it is still a very, very hot time of year. It's almost the hottest part of the year, so when the rain does stop, our crops will dry out pretty quickly, at least in comparison to if they were having to dry out in either spring or autumn. But even so, it still could take a while for them to dry out, so I figured we may as well use this time to at least sort of start prepping the 2 fields that we have harvested, get them turned over and ready for the next round of planting. Now, obviously, field 26, didn't need ploughing, but field 25, we purchased this after it had already been planted. We never took on a plough job on this field, and we purchased it in a state where it still needed to be ploughed. So I'm using the Culti-plough here. There's no point us using an actual plough because we can't extend the size of these fields thanks to that indestructible grass texture on this map. But we can use a Culti-plough and plough them and cultivate them at once. So we'll get field 25 cultivated this way, and this will remove that plough state, get us up to a nice fully fertile field, and then potentially I might do the same on field 26 as well, at least try and start staggering our plough requirements across some of our fields so that we don't have all of them certainly need ploughing at once. I may end up just using this every time we get a harvest complete, use the Culti-plough to clean the field off ready for the next crop. We don't have a direct drill seeder, so either way our fields are going to need to be cultivated after every single harvest. Maybe it's a good idea for us to actually just use this every time. I don't know. I know in real life we probably wouldn't use one of these every single time. You would end up just causing issues with field nutrients if you constantly ploughed it every year. But I don't know. Maybe we could kind of just overlook that one slightly. I don't know. We'll think about it. We may just go back to regular cultivating on some of our other fields. Ooh, just missed a little strip just there. We'll tag that in just a second. There we go. I do like this Challenger, and it does go so well with this Culti-plough, I think. They do just look like they belong together. It's a cracking little combination here. There we go. That's that little strip dealt with. And as you can see, I like to... something I've been getting in the habit of doing a lot recently is matching my cruise control speed to that of the operating speed of the equipment I'm using, so that when I get to an end I can lift the piece of equipment, make the turn without a sudden burst of acceleration, get lined up, get back in position, and then drop the equipment as I hit the edge of the field. It just feels a little bit better, a little bit more realistic to do it that way, rather than just either having this sudden burst of acceleration if the equipment gets lifted because of cruise control, suddenly going from 7 miles an hour to 30 or 26 or whatever the speed of the tractor is. And you wouldn't drag a cultivator like this through the ground when you're making your turns if you didn't want that to be part of the field. So yeah, I kind of like doing it like this. It's a habit I'm trying to get into. I still keep kind of forgetting to do it from time to time, but Yeah, I'm getting there slowly but surely, and I think it's one of the slightly more rewarding aspects. You know, once you start getting into that rhythm of playing a little bit more realistically, you know, you can sit back and you can be proud of actually achieving something once you've finally got it kind of dialed in and nailed. I was just about to say, I think the rain is easing off, and lo and behold, it's stopped. So 7:40, the rain has stopped. It's just going to start clearing up the sky in just a second. That didn't take as long as I thought it would. I thought, you know, once we got to about, you know, about 7:30, I thought, well, maybe this is going to go on a fair bit longer. And then, you know, lo and behold, 10 minutes later, it stopped raining. So that's a good sign that it's stopping at this point. Any, you know, much longer, and it would have caused us some potential issues actually waiting for the crops to dry out this afternoon. Now, you can see the sky is definitely getting bluer and brighter and clearer. So there is still an outside chance that we can get some harvesting done today, which is good because yeah, we're into the late summer. We've still got, you know, several fields that need to be done. We've got 3 that are ready right now. We've got another couple that are on the way as well. So, and we still need to do our chaffing as well. Still need to sort out our corn chaff for the BGA. So hopefully, as I say, we can actually get some done. It's now just a question to see how long it's going to take for these fields to dry out. I'm going to get out in a second. I'm going to scan the field and check the crop moisture level, or the soil moisture level. That should give us some indication, I think. If I find a little patch of grass and scan it, it should tell me, you know, how damp that is. And that'll be the same for our crops. And then we can do that periodically while we're working away on this field, and we can see how quickly it is actually drying out. So let's just see if we can do it on the ground here. No. We need to find some actual grass. What about this? There we go. So you can see 25% moisture, which is what we expect. It maxes at 25%, and it's just finished raining, so it's fully wet right now. We're going to have to wait and see how long it takes to dry out. But if we do another 3 or 4 passes and then scan that patch again, or another patch just like it, then that'll give us a good kind of indication as to how quickly the ground is drying out. Obviously, we could just sit and wait for that symbol to disappear. You can see we've got the wet crop symbol up at the moment, but where's the fun in that? Just sitting there waiting, and when a symbol suddenly disappears, you go, oh, we can start harvesting. I'd like to kind of try and figure out how long it's going to take us, if at all possible. So we scanned that around about 7:50-ish. So we'll do another couple of passes, get back to the top, scan again, and see how much the moisture level has changed. Clouds are almost completely gone now. You can see it's just a little hazy still. But for all intents and purposes, we are now slap bang into good sunny weather, which means our crops are going to start drying out right now. And there is the little change. The icon has just flipped over to a full sunshine symbol. So the rain itself is now officially over. We're well into the sunny stage. Alright, so let's have another quick scan. See what we're looking like now. Down to 23%, so it is dropping reasonably quickly. It's dropped 2% already. Now, we only need it to get to, I think, 19 or 20%, and then it'll become eligible for groundwork. So we're not that far off, I think, from actually being able to harvest. Obviously we've got a lot of this field still to go. We've only done just about half of the field, slightly under I think. Or maybe about half the field I think, yeah. About halfway. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell. So we've still got this field to do, and potentially that field there as well. But I think we'll definitely get some harvesting done this afternoon. So I'm going to push on, keep on working this field here, get it done as quickly as possible, and then attack that field there. That one's a lot narrower, so it shouldn't take as long to do. Shouldn't take anywhere near as long to do. And then hopefully we'll be attacking our new crops. Alright, so it's now an hour since it officially became sunny and no longer rainy. So let's do another quick check. Got a bit more grass just here. We're down to 20%, so any moment we should see, in theory, that damp crops symbol disappear. Which would mean our fields would be workable. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how long it takes for that to actually happen. But we haven't got too much more of this field to go, as you can see. We've cleared a good section of it. Hasn't taken us too long, really, in the grand scheme of things. It's taken us, what, about 3 hours or so to do this. That's not so bad when you consider we're only moving at 7 miles an hour with an 8-metre working width. But we are ploughing as well as cultivating, so it's going to take a little bit longer than just a regular cultivator. Well, I have to say I'm a little bit confused as to why we still have damp crops. I thought they would have dried out enough by now for us to actually do some work on it. We've seen that in the past where they dried out at around 19-20%. Enough for us to actually start working. I don't know why it's still showing us the damp crops. I mean, we've almost finished this field now. It's an hour since I took the last read, give or take a few minutes. I don't know, maybe it'll tick over 11 o'clock, I don't know. We're going to find out shortly, you know, one way or the other what's going on, because when I reach the end of this field I'm going to jump out and I'm going to scan one of these patches of grass that you see down the side of the field here, and I'm going to see exactly what sort of moisture level the grass is reading at. And it's about to hit 11 o'clock as well, so maybe it just needs to tick over to 11. I don't know. Let's see. There we go. Look, there we go. Look, 11 o'clock, boom, the crop symbol disappeared. So it did need to just tick over to 11 o'clock. Alright, so we are now free to start doing harvesting if we want to. But I do kind of want to get that field sort of ploughed out as well. I think what I'll do is I'll hire a worker to plough out this field here with the with this culti-plough. We'll get him sent over to field 26. Get him started on that. We'll then go grab our harvester and we'll start working away on field 1. We'll take the... Actually, no. We'll do field 4 if field 4 is ready. Is field 4 ready, actually? Let's have a look. Might not be ready yet. Yeah, field 4 is ready, so we'll do field 4 first, because that's canola, and we don't have any canola left for our pigs. Now, I did feed my animals a little bit of, well, at least I fed my pigs a little bit of barley last night, just because they were getting really, really low in the food trough. So I was a little worried. I didn't want them to have two major sort of food groups disappear out of their trough at the same time. So I did feed them about 8,000 litres of barley, 7,000 litres of barley, something like that, just to tide them over, ready for us to actually attack the silo properly with the wheat, or attack the trough properly with the wheat later today, after we've done our harvesting. But I'm not planning on using the rest of that barley. As I say, that's my backup barley. I kind of want to just rely on the wheat first if I can. So let's get the workers started. If we just take a quick look at our animal tab, you can see there that we are out of canola and sunflowers, and we've already used up nearly half of the wheat and half of that barley that I threw in there as well. Gonna have to top the animals up again by the end of the day today, I think. That might be something for me to do off camera. I also topped up the orchard last night as well. That ran out yesterday, so between episodes I also topped up the orchard level. This is a long way to run. I'm just going to skip back. I also topped up the orchard with fresh manure and fresh water for every tree, because everything was completely dead. So that's why our money's been going up through the day. As you can see, we're now up to 65,000. I think by the end of the day, at this rate, we might even be able to afford to buy our forage harvester, which would be awesome. So let's go pick up our auger tank. Now, is it actually buried in the ground again? Please. Yeah, look at this. I don't know why. Why does it keep doing this? And why am I always surprised to find it stuck into the ground? It's every time. I should expect this, and I still expect it, and yet I'm still amazed and disappointed and dismayed to see it like that every single time. Never mind. Right, let's get the auger tank up to field, what was the field number? Field 4. We'll attack that canola, and then we can take it straight to the farm. I'm not going to bother with the truck this time because it's a short run from the field to the farm, so we can just make that ourselves with this truck here, with the Holmer. We'll make that run up there, and then I'll grab the harvester, and then we'll bring that up, and then we'll start harvesting away our canola field on field 4. Okay, here we are at the field. It's taking a little while to drive up here. That's only 16 miles an hour. I'm even slower than the regular traffic. But we have finally made it. So let's set the beacons off. Let's detach the header. I think I've left myself enough room here, just about. It's going to be tight. Yeah, just there we go. Just fold the header up, unfold the combine. Let's see exactly what the moisture level is at right now before we do actually start. It's at 19%, so it's good enough. As I say, there's no penalty at the moment with seasons for harvesting while it's quite damp. In real life, you would want your crop to be as absolutely dry as possible before you harvest it. And it has been sort of mentioned in the manual from Realismus Modding that in the future there will be an update, which means that you can harvest at any point of moisture level on your crop, but it will have a negative impact the damper the crop is, so you want to let it dry out as long as possible to get the best possible yields. So in a situation like that, we would not be harvesting right now at all, but because that doesn't exist yet and there is no negative modifier for us harvesting at this point, we're going to get our harvest done. So I wish we could get an AI to do this for us, so we could run the combine. Just have an unload facility like this, be it a truck or an auger wagon or a tractor with a trailer, whatever. Just wish we had something we could park up on the edge of a field, like you can do in Farming Simulator 16 on mobile devices, and just press a button while you're in the combine and call that on to unload you. Make things so much easier. That's got to be something that they consider putting into Farming Sim 19, surely. Surely. So, after every unload, because we're unloading around about 15,000 litres a time and I can only hold 26 in this, I'm going to make a run to the farm and dump in the silo. Or at least that's the plan for future tips. This one is actually going straight into the food trough. Give our pigs some much needed canola. I think that counts as protein, isn't it? Check the animal tab. Yes, protein. So let's give them some protein. And hopefully this will unload automatically straight into the trough. Look at that, fantastic. And I don't have to worry about the Juno getting in the way either. That's awesome. And it's stopped unloading, or the animation is still going, just simply because we've reached capacity. So the rest of this will go into the silo. And again, this should be a nice, straightforward little job for us to do as well. Just literally pull up alongside. Hope our pipes don't collide. Just about get away with that. And there we go, unloading straight into the silo. So we have a full food trough of canola. Need to top the other ones up, we'll do that at the end of the day. And we now have a little bit in storage as well. Fantastic stuff. Our pigs are definitely starting to feel much loved and appreciated again. And we're back just in time to tag the combine on its next run down the field. This is all working out really nicely. Been doing a little bit of mental maths, and I don't think we're going to have enough canola on this field to actually feed our pigs for the full 12 months before we can get another canola harvest in. I think we might fall a little bit short. Just get the combine unloaded, and then I'll kind of run you through my thought process on this. This will also give me a good idea as just to how much we've got left on the field as well. It's going to be 2 passes, so that's probably... well, it's not even going to be 2 full passes, it's going to be 1 and a partial pass. It's not going to be a full width, so... I don't know, after we've unloaded this, maybe... we'll end up with another sort of 10,000 at most. We're just about full, so we may as well peel off here. Let's go dump this in storage, and then I'll talk you through what I mean by not having enough in storage. I think we'll fall just a little bit short. So what I might need to do is actually divert some of our second canola field that was going to be stuff to be sold up to the farm and put that into storage as well. See our Junos busily working away on those food troughs. Still need to finish feeding these animals completely at the end of the day. That might well happen off camera once the episode is finished. We'll see how we're doing for time. Getting the next harvest in is a little bit more important. We need to make sure that's done, because we are starting to run out of time for some of our other jobs as well. So what we currently have in storage is, yeah, we had what, 24,000 or so in the back of this, plus we had about 25 in here already. So we're talking around 50,000 litres. Now I think we're going to need around another 75,000 litres or so in total. If I open up the day chart here, so we need to go 12 months effectively before we can get more canola. So if we ignore the kind of day 5, day 6 here. We're looking at 6 days, 12 days. We're looking at 24 days to get back to where we are now. Now, each of those, that's going to be, if we divide that by, actually, I don't know, maybe I've been looking at this wrong. The food trough will last 3 days, and we've put, according to this, to fill the food trough took around about 10,000 litres. So we need to have 12 months worth of food. Each food is going to need to be topped up 4 more times. No. We've got 4 months, or 4 seasons, and 2 top-ups per season from full to empty. So that means each season we're going to need at least, because obviously the numbers of pigs are going to go up, we're going to need at least 20,000. So that's 20,000 in autumn, 20 in winter, 20 in spring, and 20 again in summer. So that's 80,000 plus additional amounts on top of that to account for an increasing number of pigs and an increasing number of mouths to feed. So yeah, we are going to fall short. We've got 48,000 in storage. We're currently about 30,000 litres plus short. I'd say we're probably around about 40,000 litres short if we want to play it safe. That's quite a lot to make up. Now, we have still got some more on the field, so that's not, it's not a massive tragedy. But it does mean that we're probably going to have to divert a full trailer, or at least a full auger's worth, from our other canola field, which is field 10 down behind the shop. We're going to have to divert at least, I would say, 25,000 litres from that field up here, just to make sure that we've got enough. So what I'll do is I'll do the same kind of calculations with the barley and the corn as well, once I've kind of figured out how much we need to fill up those food troughs based on the numbers of animals we have now. We'll work out the absolute minimum that we need. And oh, look at that, we can actually tag the whole remaining bit of the field. That's nice. We'll work out the the kind of predicted amount that we'll need for the next 12 months. Of course, the worker's playing silly buggers, isn't he? Doesn't want to go any further. Alright, we'll do this bit ourselves. And once I know roughly kind of like the absolute minimum amount that we need, I can then see whether or not we're going to actually have enough corn, enough barley, and enough canola for us to, run our pig farm for the next 12 months. We may well potentially have to sell off some pigs again once they finish breeding in autumn. I don't think the price goes up till sort of early winter, so we may need to sell a few pigs over winter, and we'll definitely end up probably selling a whole load of pigs again in spring like we did this year. Bring in some extra cash which we could maybe divert over to the dairy farm, or maybe just put towards new land. But yeah, not going to be enough. Definitely not going to be enough on this field, so we are going to have to take a chunk of our other canola field, which was supposed to be crop that we could sell, and put it into storage up here for those pigs. And if that's the case with the wheat as well, then that backup barley may very well become needed barley, and possibly even need to take from some of our wheat that's in storage at our main silos just over there as well. And if that's the case, I'm now starting to have serious doubts that we're going to have enough corn, which then creates a massive problem, because the only other cornfield we've got is the one over by the BGA, which we were supposed to be chaffing for silage. I don't really want to have to harvest some of that for grain. I'd rather chaff the whole field, but if worst comes to worst, that's what we'll have to do. So we're finished on this field. Let's see what our total sort of additional amount that we can throw into the silo is going to be. Let's pipe out. In fact, actually, before I go any further, let's detach the trailer. There we go. And we can move this straight over to field 1, ready for that wheat harvest. It does not look a bit weird when you've got no header on the front. That pipe looks absolutely huge. This huge, great big pipe sticking out the side. But this is actually quite a good thing that we've kind of sussed this out as early as we have into our harvest season, because it means that we can plan a bit more accordingly for the next round of harvests. When it comes to replanting our fields, we can figure out exactly which fields are going to be the best in terms of size to give us the kind of volume of crop that we need. Oops, no. There we go. Right, so how much have we got in here? 12,000. Yeah, so that's going to give us 60,000. We are going to need... Yeah, we're going to need a full 26,000 litre auger from our other fields just to make sure we've got enough canola. That's a shame. That's quite a chunk of canola from a field that is missing one of its fertilizer stages, don't forget. That's quite a lot of crop that we were going to sell that's now going to have to be diverted across to our animals. Still, we live and learn, eh? So now it's time for us to make a start on our wheat field here. Now the straw that we're going to get off this field is all going to stay loose. We're going to scoop it up with our Lely forage wagon just here, and then we're going to take that and dump it in our forage and chip silo. Make sure that we have plenty of straw ready for the next 12 months. Obviously our straw usage is pretty low at the moment. It is the middle of summer, and of course the animals tend to spend a lot of time outside when the weather is good. But come the end of autumn and all through winter and even the early part of spring as well, they're going to be inside an awful lot more because it's a lot colder, which means they're going to burn through that straw supply a lot quicker as well. So it's nice to make sure that we actually have enough to keep us going for the full 12 months. I was initially going to start on that side of the field, but I figured it would actually be easier if we started there so that I could tag the combine on the way back up the field. So I'm just going to move this over here, then we'll get the combine started. We will chase the combine with the Optum and the forage wagon there, the loading wagon. And then when we need to, we'll switch back to the Holmer. And we'll do an unload. And then when this is full, we'll take this direct and unload it in the silo like we were doing with our canola as well. So let's jump in, engine on. Worker hired. Oh, no, wait. Before we go any further. Enable straw swath. There we go. Right, worker hired. We're going to jump out. Back into the Optum. Lower and turn on. Let's set cruise control to 6. So I'm matching speed with the combine. That way we don't get too close. And let's gather up all of this straw. And there we go, we're full and the combine is almost full, so this is where it's going to get a little bit frantic, trying to switch between vehicles, make sure that we can run the straw over and run the grain over and keep the combine unloaded and running. This could get a little bit hectic, and it's probably not going to go as smoothly as last time as it did with the baler. because the bales we were just dumping on the ground and we could collect those later. This is a little bit different. Every time the loading wagon fills up, we have to go and empty it. Every time the auger fills up, we have to go and empty it. Every time the combine fills up, we have to kind of tag that. And so in the time it's going to take us to do trip 1 and trip 2, it's probably going to be time to unload the combine yet again. So, yeah, this could go one of a couple of different ways, but we can leave that there now while that's unloading. As soon as he's finished unloading, he will head, onto the next pass of the field, which gives us time to run this over to the farm, get it unloaded, and try and gather up a little bit more straw. Just looking to see whether I can see when the combine gets started, and those trees are in the way. I can't see. This is going to take some fast and accurate driving. Not necessarily my strongest skills here. If we didn't have cows moving through that middle area, I'd leave the gates open and just run through the cow shed, but I'll just use the pig entrance as well. It's not that much further. Again, I still can't see on that field. There's too many trees in the way. The combine will definitely have restarted by now, though. Alright, we're back on the field, and as you can see, we're now running at proper 12 miles an hour now that we're not chasing the combine. I am missing little patches on the edges. I'm going to try and avoid doing that where I can. I want to try and get all of this straw if possible. And I've just noticed I need to top the fuel tank up on the Optum as well. I kind of run that dry a little bit. So we've got tiny little spots. I'm not too worried about the little spots. Yeah, if they were long, thick, solid chunks, then yes, I'll probably grab those. But those little dots there, they're not really worth much at all. Grab this little bit here, though. There we go. So, let's turn and run all the way down here. And when we get to the bottom, we may even be full by the time I get to the bottom. But when we get to the bottom, I'll probably have to get ready to tag the combine again, and then I'm going to have to run grain before I can do anything else. Oh, it's getting this is where it's going to start getting congested and awkward. It's getting full. Look, you can see in the top there, in that grain window, there's a lot of grain in the top of that hopper. Haven't seen the 80% warning pop up yet, but it's not far off, that's for sure. And we're pretty much full here, look. Yeah, we are full. Alright, I don't think I've got time to run this back. I'll get this to the top of the field, I'll reposition the auger so that unloads as it did last time. And then we'll run this back, we'll empty it, we'll also drop off. There's the 80% warning, just popped, look. We'll drop off the straw, we'll also refuel the Optum as well. And then when we get back, I'll have to grab this and go and unload this. And then bring this back as well. So yeah, it's getting a little bit hectic. But we will manage it. So, let's see. He's going to back up a touch. If I park there, he'll back up, and then he should drive forward and tag. Yeah, oh, he's still tagging it now, look. Okay, so again, that gives us the time to go and unload this and refuel. And as soon as we get back, we've got to switch straight into the Holmer, go and unload, and then dash back to make sure that we can then unload the combine, you know, for the third time. The refueling was taking too long, so I got enough in there just to at least finish this field off, and then just broke for cover. So oh god, the combine's at the bottom already. Look, oh, this is not good. This could be problematic. I mean, if worst comes to worst, he's going to stop and he's just going to wait, but I kind of like to avoid that if possible, because, you know, knowing my luck, he's going to get to the top of the field, he's going to turn around, go down a little bit and then stop. I'm going to have to turn him out, bring him back out, manually unload him, find the right position, get him restarted, and have that big clump of straw as well. It's yeah, just if I can get away without having all that drama, then that would be better. But this is going to be really, really tight. The unload speed of our forage wagon is tremendous. You know, it ploughed through those 42,000 litres into the silo ridiculously quickly. This, I don't think, is quite as quick. Oh god, no, this is slower. This is much slower. Oh, this is torture. We'd unloaded 42,000 litres by this point. We're still going here with 26. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Oh no, that was that's me being too hasty. Should have folded the pipe first. Right, can we at least make it back? Just, you know, that would be horrific damage in real life. There's the 80% warning. He's getting close to the front of the field. Can we see him? There he is. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I can only go 26 miles an hour. Need more speed. I don't think I'm going to... I might just get there. Oh, this is going to be so close. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm going to just plough straight through the bushes here just to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm just about going to make it. Oh, look at that. How close was that? Whew. Excellent. Right, so he will back up and he will start unloading into that now. Whew. We can now start grabbing this straw. Lower. Turn on and off we go. Get as much of this as we can. We'll tag that little bit down there at the bottom. Once we get down there, then come back up on this side. See there, the combine's still unloading. I'm only going to get one more run at this before I have to go through that mad scramble again. Luckily there won't be any refueling time this time, but even so, that was a little too close for comfort. And we're going to have to drive further across the field this time as well to get there. Moving further and further away from the farm and the silos. That's quite a big little clump there. We need to make sure we grab that. There we go. Will do. Not too worried about that thin strip. Let's just get as much of this as we can before we fill up. Where's the combine? Oh, he's about a third of the way down the field already. It's just going to be mad scrambles like this all the way through this field. I've always maintained that Farming Simulator is not a stressful game, but when you put yourself in situations like this, it suddenly starts to get quite stressful. Alright, so this time I'm trying to preempt where it's going to be rather than just meeting it, so I can try and get at least another batch of straw in as quickly as possible and see if this actually works, or whether I've just made a huge mistake. Arms going out to meet the auger. He's stationary. Excellent. So we did judge the position just about right. So that gives me time to stick another load of straw in here. I can then switch to the auger, go and load the auger, then unload the straw. We haven't got much of the field left, actually. Wow, I've been so focused on making sure that I've been hitting these objectives, making sure that the combine kept running. I didn't even look to see how quickly we were working through the field itself. I was focusing more on the straw swaths rather than how much, wheat was still left on the field. Okay, that's good stuff. So there we go, we're full. Switch out to the Terra variant. Don't have to worry about getting back to unload that thing in time because it's the end of the field, so he'll stop when he gets to the end, assuming of course that the AI plays along and actually works the remainder of the field without interruption. But this is our, I think, our third, or is this our second trip to the silo? I think it's our second, so that's going to be about 50,000 in the silo up here. That's not too bad, but I don't think that'll be enough for our pigs. So I think we are going to have to use that barley as well. Well, again, it depends how much more we're going to get off the field. We'll probably get another sort of 10,000, I think, maybe 12 at a push, but I think probably more likely 10,000. Figured I may as well ride along with the worker just to make sure he does actually do the whole field. And he has, which is fantastic. So let's just space that a little bit of straw out. Let's unfold and detach the header. There we go. We'll unload into the auger. Combine is now done for the day. And how much straw have we still got left to pick up? Quite a fair bit, actually. That's a fair old chunk. I think I might start using some of this straw to help dilute our TMR a little bit. Maybe throw in 25% mix of... or is it 20%? I think it's 25%. Of straw into our TMR mix, just to help thin out the supplies a little bit, or stretch them out a little bit more, so that we can make our hay and our silage last a little bit longer. I don't know, I suppose it depends how much of those we've already got. We've got plenty of hay, that's not going to be an issue. I'm just slightly concerned that we might run out of silage. I think we've got enough of that as well. Let's just turn the beacons off. Let's check our supply levels when we go back to the farm. So I'm going to take this and unload this. We'll carry on unloading the rest of the straw off this field, and I need to dump that grain as well before I forget. We'll get that done in just a second, and then that's probably going to be it for another day. We'll be out of time. I'll make sure that the animals are fed before I log off for the night. And then I'll do some calculations and see if I can figure out just how much food we are going to need for the next 12 months based on full food troughs. So we're bringing the last of our wheat from the field into the silo now. All of the straw has been collected and dumped in our forage and chip silo just over there. And I had a quick look. We've got plenty of hay, but we have 0 silage left in the silo. I forgot that we used it all up to make a large batch of TMR. We've got 260 odd thousand litres of TMR in the silo, so there's no pressing need right now for for more silage, but it is something that would be useful to have. So I think what I might do, obviously we're going to do another cut on our grass fields in autumn, is I might actually, instead of putting it all into the silo over there, which we're going to be obviously adding our corn chaff to, what I might well do is actually divert some up here and put a couple of fields worth of grass in here, just so we've got a little bit more silage just in case we need it. And that way we can leave everything over there untouched and sell all of that. So there we go. That is another kind of day on the farm coming to a conclusion. I am going to sort of fill up all of my food troughs now for all of my animals, and then I'll make a note of the fill levels of each individual segment of the troughs and try and work out roughly how much I'm going to need for the next 12 months. It's not an exact science. Their food amounts do vary depending on the season, so it's only going to be kind of a rough guide, but at least it will give me some kind of figure to work from, which is, a good thing, I think. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, please do check out the Return of Fent Farm. We're on the Green River 2017 map by NLD Farmers. It's a cracking map, and it's I think going to be a really good fun let's play, so please do check that out, and I'll be back with another episode of American Midwest very soon.